Well, Peter recapped for me all the different ways that we scored tonight. It was kind of interesting. We had guys out there the whole time. We worked good at bats. Left some folks on base, but I love the tenacity of the at-bat. That's what I've been talking about. It continues to get better. Overall, we caught the ball on defense. Danny pitched well. I mean, he gave up that home run to Lind. He'd love to have that pitch back, of course. Then he would have had himself a really good day. Probably would have finished that whole inning there, too. Bullpen was outstanding once again. So just kind of a team win. Starlin makes a great play, which is very big in that moment. So a lot of good things happened tonight.
When Starlin made that catch, I mean, that's just the fact that he's hustling sends a message that.
That was great. I mean, that's what I'm saying. His attitude's been fabulous. And then to make that among the bullpen with the crap on the ground and guys flying all over the place and there's no room left and it's at night and it's different. And he made that's a fact. He's really good on pop-ups. I've been told that in the past. I've seen it. But that was a spectacular play right there. I told him to wear sneakers before the game, and that was it. There was no chance he was playing today.
How many guys on your team have saves this year?
How many?
Like 7. That was by design.
Well, yeah, of course. Once we wanted to, get Ronnie out of there and fix him up a little bit and get him back, then it's just going to be spread out among the masses. And the way it played out, I mean, Stropey did the heavy lifting. Davis, Lynn, LaCroix, he did the heavy lifting in the 8th. And then James came out, he could throw strikes, and he did. They hit some balls decently, but we were placed well. Had some, good backups involved if we needed it. So I've been involved in this kind of a bullpen in the past, based on leverage situations. You need a bunch of guys that are really egoless to make it work. Somebody that's not going to be upset that one night he's pitching in the 6th and maybe the next night, the 8th or the 9th. I think our guys are understanding that it's just based on your talents versus theirs and just trying to put the best matchup out there possible.
So you're watching.
Go ahead.
So you're watching the scoreboard as you always do.
Right.
You know you're only a 2.5 behind the Pirates.
Yep.
So
I saw the Cardinals came from behind.
Get excited about possibly moving past them.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's, you got to catch them first before you catch the next team. So, yeah, absolutely. It was I watched it. They got out, and then all of a sudden the Cardinals did their thing in St. Louis. Ends up 4-3, and I admit, I have no idea how it happened, but I did watch the numbers.
15 over. That's been one of those benchmarks.
Yeah, 5 by 5s. We went 5-10 and now 15. Keep it rolling. The next goal is 20. Really proud of our guys and the way they're going about their business. I mean, here comes Milwaukee, and that guy, their pitcher, Youngman's got a great arm. He's going to be really good. And so we did our thing with him. We worked good at bats. I think he had like 80 pitches after 3 innings, something crazy like that. And that just speaks to the at-bat. And that's what we need to do. We've done that. I was really pleased with our whole approach to the game. Day off. Yesterday we've been concerned about days off with young players. How do they respond? We've been not a good Friday team. We played well last Friday. We came back after a day off. So I like those little moments that are occurring right now where our guys are showing up to play and they're ready to play.
That ability to just wear down the pitcher, I mean, it was a staple of the Red Sox games when you had to in charge there.
Mm-hmm.
Is that rare or odd to see from such a young team?
Yeah, well, yes and no. I mean, if it's part of their DNA, that's how they were drafted and signed. I mean, it's difficult to make somebody like that, but if they can't come equipped with that, then that's what you could expect. I mean, for years, other groups have been talking about, having their hitters become more selective or patient. Well, that's fine. If they're that to begin with, they're going to be that. If they're not that, I mean, for me, the better approach is to try to teach them to not strike out as opposed to attempt to accept their walk. Sometimes that's difficult. So you draft them or acquire that kind of a hitter, and then that's what you get. If you draft or acquire a hitter that's not like that, don't expect to make him into that.
Does the 4th best record in baseball mean anything to you?
It's nice. It's nice. We have high standards. Our goals are higher than that. But yeah, I mean, it's not bad for right now. And that's what I'm talking about with our guys to really. We won today was Tuesday, right? We won Tuesday's game, so let's go after Wednesday's game, regardless of who's wearing the other uniform. Don't apply any more or less weight, and if you don't, then eventually you can keep adding on to those wins. And I love the way we're kind of like got blinders on right now. We're just playing the game. We're trying to beat the game through execution. It doesn't matter who's on the other side. That's excuse me, the smoke celebration, which is okay. I've always liked the phrase "beat the game through execution," and I mean, if you really understand that, talked about the relentless execution of fundamentals and technique, breaking the other team's will. When you're able to do that and understand it's about beating the game of baseball on a nightly basis, and that's how you beat the good guys. If you understand that concept, and I think our guys are starting to understand that concept.
Was there any particular turning point, or is it just kind of a culmination of everything coming together and young guys playing really well?
Yeah, I mean, post All-Star break, like I said, it was kind of like, it's like my old 65 Plymouth that Uncle Chuck used to drive all the time. We just didn't want to turn over. And then eventually you hit that, it turns over, and all of a sudden guys start feeling it a little bit better. I thought there was a certain amount of fatigue, mental fatigue, post-break. I think we're getting through that somewhat right now. And like I said, you put yourself in position to be in an absolute playoff hunt in September. Energy just shows up. You don't have to look for it. It's there. So we're working on that area, that component that takes care of that, so that when you arrive at that moment, you are ready to rock and roll. And that's what our guys are starting to get.